Hi, this is Linda West with Living Live, and today I am here with Kelly Garrett of Etc. Design and Marketing. Now, you might think it's spelled one way, but it's not. I'm going to share with you how it's spelled in just a minute. But Kelly is really an amazing person. She does end-to-end marketing consulting and implementation. And today we're going to talk about some marketing strategies and how you can more easily communicate with your customers. So if you know anybody who is in business who really wants to learn how to communicate better and more easier with their customers, please share this video out because it's going to be some really helpful information. So Kelly, welcome to the show. I'm really excited to have you here. And why don't you tell us more about what it is that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. So I have been running a marketing design agency for 10, almost 11 years, actually. And we do end-to-end marketing services. So we not only help strategize and come up with a plan for your marketing, but we take it to the execution level and help implement as well. And one of the things that we focus on is customer journey. So making sure that your customers have a very seamless experience throughout the entire journey with you, from just hearing about you to all the way to, their purchase and after the purchase even. So we are able to help a lot of people really maximize their impact and increase the amount of sales that they're able to do because of that.
How did you get into something like that? Because it's a little more detailed and niched than a lot of your marketing companies that, I've spoken to so far. And it's how did you niche down to that specific thing?
Yeah, it's been an evolution for sure. I started off doing freelance work and just noticed as someone who's very technical, I'm a developer, so I can code and do graphic design and all of these different things. And I noticed clients kept coming to me saying, oh, this previous developer I worked with he was really good at development, but the copy he wrote was terrible and didn't know anything about marketing. And I see that more and more, that there's a lot of service providers that have one piece or the other. They have strategy or they have technical capabilities. And one thing that is very intuitive for me, I'm a very intuitive person, is that I'm able to really put myself in other people's shoes. So I'm constantly flipping it around and going, well, what are they experiencing? What is it like for this? And so when I'm working on someone's website, or when I was working on someone's website as a freelancer, I'd always be giving them little tips for optimization. Well, really we should make the navigation bar say this because it's just more user friendly, because I'm constantly putting myself in their shoes. So that's really how it evolved. And then I just realized, you know what, if people focus on the experience that the customer is having more, that's going to create a better marketing and drive more sales.
And that's just true with anything, because if you can put yourself in somebody's shoes, whether it's just having a conversation with somebody, or if there's something you want to say to somebody and you think, could this maybe hurt their feelings? It's basically just putting yourself in their shoes. So kind of the same thing with marketing, which marketing really is it's about making connections with people. And I love attraction marketing, right? Where you whatever you put out there, if people are attracted to you, they're going to come to you. And it's so much easier than trying to hunt down people, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's just it. If you are knowledgeable about what you can offer, if you're able to know yourself, know your values, know how you're different, and have that confidence to put out there and really, put yourself in the customer's shoes and understand exactly what it is that they need and what transformation you can give them, then you're bound to attract people. You're bound to have people that'll see you and just say, I want to work with this person no matter what. I just want to work with them.
And it's a great point you made there is really it's about being authentic and knowing who you are and what you put out there, because whoever you are, whatever you're putting out there is what's going to come back to you. So if you are putting out a message that's not you, you're going to attract to you people who are not you. And then you're probably really not going to enjoy working with them that much. So just be yourself, right? Put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Now, just at the end of the show, we're going to give you away a free gift, and that's 6 steps to elevate your marketing impact video training. So we're going to talk about that in just a bit, but just make sure you stick around to the end so that you can, get a link to that and download that. Okay. Now I want to talk about, traditional marketing. And nowadays there's so much tech out there. There's so much out there. There's some people I know, they're like, I'm not tech savvy. I just don't get it. I don't want to be left behind. So what do you say to people like that who are, let's say they're fearful of tech?
Mm-hmm. So I think that can be, absolutely, it can be overwhelming to people. And I think the bottom line is to kind of flip your mindset a little bit. And because think of the technology just as a vehicle or as a tool to drive communication between you and your customer or drive a transaction. At the bottom of it, at the end of the day, it's about connecting with people. There's a person on the other end of the technology, and marketing is about understanding human behavior and knowing how people make purchase decisions. So if you can just put aside the technology for a moment and make sure that your marketing basics are really solid and really clear, then the technology just becomes something that you add on top of it and is truly more of a vehicle or a way to make that communication and that exchange happen. So once you do that, once you have your foundation set, then you're going to start to evaluate, well, what are the tools that I need to make these transactions possible? And what are the tools that I need to connect with people? And if you're feeling overwhelmed by that, the best thing to do is, I think, work with someone one-on-one. Because when you listen to the gurus or when you listen to people that are online and you're jumping around to all these resources to try and learn, that's when it gets confusing, because everybody has their own little way of doing something, and technology is flexible so that there's more than one way to do something. So by working with someone individually, you're going to get maybe a different approach than someone else would take, but you're going to get one way and better clarification on how to just accomplish your goals.
And that's a good point, because there are so many different technologies out there, and really having, connecting with somebody who knows about the technology is really important, because that way they can make sure that you get the right one that's right for you. Because if you, like, say, for example, for my email marketing, I use MailChimp. And now MailChimp is great for some people, but not all people. There might be something you need that's more robust. And so it's all a matter of having somebody in your corner that can make sure that you're using the right kind of technology.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And I'm leery of service providers who say, I'll only work with this one particular technology or one platform or one tool, because I think that, like you said, one size does not fit all. That doesn't, everybody's business does not have the same requirements in the tools that they use. So for instance, we definitely have tools that we like better than others. And if people are asking our opinion, we'll give them our opinion. Well, we really prefer to work in this tool, and this is why. But we'll work with whatever tool our client brings to us and try to help coach them into discovering what tool is best for them.
I love that. And it's so true. And I will talk about just quickly about the virtual assistant industry in just a second, but let's say hi to Veronica. Say hi, Veronica.
Hello.
So in the virtual assistant industry, what you said just now kind of made me ping to that, because you have, for example, if you hire one virtual assistant, that virtual assistant only knows the products or services that person has worked with in their life. However, there's a lot of virtual assistant companies that have different people that can do different things. So if you're thinking about, like, what is the best one for me, maybe in that particular instance, if you're looking for someone to do the work for you, is to find a virtual assistant company that has a lot of different people who have varying experiences in different kinds of technologies, and hopefully find a company, like Kelly's company, that can tell you what you should be using, because just having the knowledge of all the different things you can use is always, of course, helpful, because you don't want to be sent down that road of using that one product that maybe you just will never get it and understand it. And that happens because technology is crazy. Now you get it because you're a developer, but not all of us think that way, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm having clients come all the time that have started down one road with one tool, and they end up wasting so much money because they didn't stop to evaluate what tool is going to be the best for them before they dove in. So a lot of times we're kind of undoing things that they've already done. And that's just so hard to see that happen when someone has spent an investment in getting something up and going and then discovering that they hate it.
And I love that point too, because one thing I've discovered during my journey is that I'm kind of like that type of person who I hear about something and I jump on it. So instead of evaluating it to see like what is it really about? Because it's like, I just want to get going. I just want to get going and don't want to spend the time doing the research. However, because of the experiences I've had this last several years, I've realized that I've spent and wasted a lot of money by being that way. And so now I'm more cautious to look, evaluate, see if it really serves my needs. And if I don't know, then I reach out to somebody who can actually tell me or help me figure out what's going to work best for me. So it is important to stop. Like you said, stop and be more methodical about your decisions in your business. So you don't end up down the wrong path. And then like you course correcting and, bringing someone like Kelly in to fix you, because how oftentimes does that happen,
Yeah, but I also want to give you credit for being decisive and taking action too, because there's a careful balance, right? Because you can get caught up in technical overwhelm and then be stuck in indecision, and then there you are 6 months down the line and you still haven't decided what tool to use.
That's true.
So I think it's important to find a balance. Do your research, make sure you're knowledgeable, but then make a decision and know that there's not a technology that is going to be the perfect solution. There's going to be problems with everything that's out there. So find the one that works best and then be willing to adapt.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel a lot better about just jumping in. Because I know, like we hear, there's sayings, entrepreneurs build the plane while they're flying it and things like that, which might not always be the best way to do things. But in some instances, like you pointed out, sometimes it's just a matter of just jump and do something. Because you said, if I wait 6 months to do it, in the meantime, if I had done it 6 months before, I might have figured out in 2 or 3 weeks that it wasn't going to work.
Right.
Instead of just sitting there and thinking, oh, I should be doing this. I should be doing this. And then next thing I know, I'm finding out that it didn't work anyway. So why don't you tell me what's your favorite? I know you work with chatbots and let's talk about that a little bit, because I've been dabbling in the messenger automation area. And I got to tell you, when I first got into it, when I first heard about it, I shouldn't say when I first got into it, because when I first heard about it, I didn't get into it because I just didn't get it. And I kind of started to dive in and try to figure it out. And it was so confusing for me. But now that I'm in, I get it. I can do it quickly. And so why don't you share with us like what the messenger bots are, but most importantly, how can they benefit your business and working with your customers more easily? Because I know that's what our topic is today, working with customers more easily.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love Facebook Messenger bots. I could talk about them all day. I've been working with bots for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. And
but they've been around that long?
Yes. Facebook released them in March of 2016.
Okay.
And I think that it is definitely the next tool to use for marketing. I think that it is going to outperform email marketing for quite a while. I think there will eventually become a point like marketing, like email has become, where the results that you'll get will start to decrease because everybody will be using it and people will get tired of getting bombarded with messages. But really the reason a chatbot is so effective with marketing is because it's reaching people where they want to be reached. So we have our phones tied to us all the time. People want to be able to get information about your business and connect with someone just by pressing a couple buttons. They don't want to have to sit on a desktop web surf and then open up an email and type a long message to get information or get on the phone and talk to somebody. So that, that by putting it in our pockets makes it so much easier to connect with people. And that's one of the most effective ways that I see chatbots working. You use the automation side of a chatbot to handle some of the initial things like asking questions, questions that will help you segment or find out information about your audience. What's your gender? What type of business do you have, et cetera. And then from there, you offer to get on a live chat, or even just people will send you their questions without even being prompted.
Right.
And then you hop on. Yeah. Then you hop on and answer their questions. I've had many of those conversations just because I happen to be at my computer or even on my phone. I've had many of those conversations turn into sales calls and turn into sales. The other night I was at my daughter's dance lesson and I got a message that someone was talking to my chatbot and asked a question, and I was there answering, and we scheduled a call for the next day and we're off and running. So it's cool. We're very connected that way. And that's what makes it a great tool.
And there's so many different ways that you can use it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen for a second here. And what I'm going to show you, the point out here is that even though I don't have a lot of sends, like for example, on the very top one, I sent that to 170 people. But what I want you to look at is that 72% is the amount of people who opened that. 72%. And of that, a total of 16% actually clicked on the link. So these numbers are awesome. So you notice the numbers are different, and that's based on how many people I chose to send these particular broadcasts to. So the point is that chatbots, look at here, 91%, 92%, 83%, 96%. People are actually looking at these messages that I'm sending. So I just wanted to, again, point that out because it's really good to see that, how effective this messenger system is when you get into it. And, like Kelly was talking, you can ask questions and then they'll answer your questions. You're not even there. Like you set up the questions ahead of time. And then, they have a conversation with your chatbot when they are ready. And that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And those numbers that you're seeing, those are typical numbers. It's not, anybody can get those kinds of numbers because that's just how effective it is. And it's, you get a ping on your phone, you check your messages right away. So a lot of that response happens within the first 3 or 4 seconds of you sending the message as well. So that's hugely effective, so much more than anything else that's out there right now.
Another thing I want to point out about this too is you might see people who have, tens of thousands of messenger connections. Now I don't. I only have 170. So mine, I don't have very many. But let me ask you this question as a person who has a business, you're watching this right now. Let me ask you, would 10% of 170 people, which is 17 people, would that be enough clients for you? Let me ask you that question. Because if 17 clients is enough for you, then really only having 170 is plenty. So think about it that way. And so I don't have, tens of thousands of people. It's not about that. It's about having quality people who want your product or service. That's what it's all about. So let's see. Alfonso asked a question. Okay. How do the both of you pop up? You mean, how do we show up on the screen? Is that your question? I'm using a platform called Be Live. And it's BELIVE.TV. And actually they have a free version and they also have paid versions. So I'm using a paid version, but the free version, you can also have people come up on your screen. You're just limited as to how much time you can spend. So if that was the answer to your question, that's great. If not, go ahead and rephrase the question, so I can answer it better. So Kelly, which in messenger bots, let me ask you, what have you seen has been the most effective way of using them? Would you say it's in the questions that you ask because that helps you see who your audience is? Would you say it's just sending messages to people? What's the best thing you've seen about the bots?
I think there's a lot of different industries getting fantastic results. So That's a tricky question because there is not one method that is necessarily getting better results over the other. E-commerce seems to be doing very well selling products directly through the messenger bot. So you can create kind of a little catalog of different things to purchase. People can click to purchase, and their credit card information, if they've entered it, is already populated. So it's just like 1 or 2 clicks to get something delivered to their door. So that has been working extremely well. For the digital marketers, for the more information product type of people, Facebook has terms of service that states that it does not allow you to sell digital products through Messenger, but the interpretation of that is kind of up in the air. You can send people over to a sales page and sell through there. What I see with a lot of people that have higher ticket items or some type of service that they offer is encouraging people to get on a call with them, having that live conversation. And even if it's not live, just telling people, leave your question and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. Then once you're able to talk with them and they know that they're talking to a human, telling them to jump on a call with you is easy. So, you know, the most effective thing, I guess, to answer that would be getting people to take action of some sort. That is the most effective thing you can do. And depending on, as long as you're following the Facebook terms of service, which there are a lot of very specific rules according, you know, when you're using Messenger, as long as you're following those rules, then it's really a gold mine.
That's awesome. I know recently they started to allow you to take payment through your Messenger. And I don't know what that's all about. So I'm assuming then by what you just now said, that means that that's for products that they can actually purchase, not for digital products, whatever that would be.
Yeah. And if you read the Facebook terms of service on that, it's very vague. So I'm assuming that their intention is to leave it vague so that they can get some data back and then start to kind of narrow down as they learn what they're willing to allow and whatnot. I think that services might be something that would fall in there as okay to do. Don't quote me on it and don't take my word, definitely check with the terms of service and ask around to see what other people have been doing. But yes, they are trying to keep it to physical products. Some services would probably fall in there. But again, like I said, there's nothing, there's no reason you can't send someone to a sales page and take the sale on the sales page. As long as you're within, there's this promotional period, a 24-hour promotional period, that when someone initiates a conversation with your bot, you have 24 hours to send a promotional message to them.
Oh, so if you don't do it within 24 hours, what happens?
You are breaking the terms of service and they can shut your bot down, and they have. And there are I've seen a lot of bots get shut down for messaging outside of that 24-hour window. So that brings up a lot of people get creative on how to kind of, it's not getting around it, but what Facebook is after is they're trying to make the conversation more real and more personable. So all you would do is send out a message as though you are texting your friend. I did this the other day before I went live. I said, hey, I've been thinking about something lately that's been on my mind, and I really wanted to chat with you about it. You want to hop on a call? And then yes or no was the question. And when they said yes, I said, oh, hey, great. I'm live. I'm going to be live on Facebook here. Check it out. And then what I would do from there then is ask permission, basically, do you always want to receive notifications about when I go live, and have them explicitly say yes? Because then if there ever is a question, you can show, I do have their permission to send live notifications.
Okay. And I do that too. I make sure that they say yes to going live, and what I like too is that you can create landing pages. So for example, if you don't have ClickFunnels or lead pages or one of those, that you can actually use your messenger bot to create a landing page where you can say, like mine is like, go to livinglive.tv/go live. And then that way on all of my marketing that has to do with my live video announcements, I just have people go ahead and type that in so they can subscribe to my messenger bot to be notified when I'm going live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can also put a link in any email to invite people. You can put a button on a website. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways you can get people to opt in to your bot.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love the messenger bots too. Like I totally am a geek about them as well. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, just some fun stuff going on with that. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about your free gift, which is the 6 steps to elevate your marketing impact video training. Why don't you tell us what that's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of going back to our discussion about going back to the basics of marketing, I have this 6-step process that I follow. The first is to know your business and your brand. And that really involves just evaluating the look and feel of your brand, knowing the value that you provide and being able to be confident in that. Then the second step is knowing your customers and, again, digging into more of their pain points and understanding them fully. Then making an offer to them. So making sure that you're in alignment with all of that, and then communicating clearly. And so that focuses around your content marketing and making sure that you have the right vehicles in place to communicate with them. Feedback loops, and then deliver and operate. And so I actually shouldn't go into that much because you'll learn all of that in the actual training itself. But it's the 6 steps that you follow. And as long as you have evaluated all of those and kind of done the background work, you've got the basics of your marketing set up. And from there, it's just a matter of execution.
What I like about that is that you, by breaking it down that way, it really makes it more palatable, and people can actually go through each step. And it's important to do that because I know that when I started my journey, I had no idea what I was doing. And then when people would talk about target market, I'm like, what? I don't even understand what that is. And I was like, don't you just tell the whole world, because the whole world wants what I have. Yeah. And it doesn't work that way at all.
Yeah. And we all start there. I think every business owner that I've ever met, myself included, think, wow, well, I'm going to sell everything to everybody because why wouldn't everybody want it? And
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a great thought, but it's much better. You'll have a much easier time if you find the right people to buy what you need, to help give them what they need.
Definitely. Like just thinking about a company like Apple products, whenever they have a product coming out and people are waiting in line, 2-3 days ahead of time, because they love that product so much. So if you have a product that people love, they're not only going to be into it themselves, but they're also going to share it with people. So just make sure whatever product or service you have is something that you're really behind and you really are passionate about what you're doing, so you can attract the right people who love what you're doing and what you have. I mean, that's my thought.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so you have any parting words that you want to share with everybody about, like, maybe something I didn't cover or didn't ask?
I think just to remember, and this is repeating what has already been said, but I think just to remember with marketing that if you have the basics down, and by that, I mean, taking away all the technology, taking away the newest and latest, greatest strategy that all the experts are talking about, and going back to the things that have been consistent across all time. If you go back to the 60s and 40s and look at some of the old copy that people were writing, it's the same. It's the same concept of understanding human behavior, knowing people and how they make decisions, and focusing around building that relationship and communicating with them effectively. If you go back to that and focus on that and make sure that that is solid, then bring in the technology, then bring in the tools and the strategies to maximize the reach that you can have, maximize the number of people you can help, and just make that communication a lot easier and a lot more effective for everybody.
I love it. So true. Relationships, relationships, relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And I love what you're doing. And oh, wait, one last question before we go.
Sure thing.
So up to date, what is your greatest accomplishment?
I think really, I mean, I can look back at the things that I've done, and there have been standout moments here and there, and there have been cool sales that I've made, and and all those kinds of things. But really, when it comes down to it, it is the connections that I have made. It is the people and the relationships that I have built. Those are worth more than any amount of money and any, ribbon or badge that I could hold up ever. So that's really what it's all about for me. And I'm very proud of the connections that I've made and the people that I work with and get to call friends and colleagues.
Yeah. In the end of the day, really, it is all about, again, about those connections and those relationships that we made,
Absolutely.
and, yeah, like I'm doing something now called Tuesdays with Linda. I'll just share it with everybody because maybe it's something you want to do. So Tuesdays with Linda it's all about making those connections and building those relationships. What I do is every Tuesday, I go to a restaurant somewhere in town. I'm in San Diego. So I go to a restaurant in town and I invite people to come join me from 11:30 to 1. And it's fun because today I actually met a woman. I never met her in person. She's seen me on Facebook and she is like, oh, I saw that you're doing Tuesdays with Linda. So I showed up. So it gave me an opportunity to start to build this relationship with somebody in person. And then, we had like four other people showed up as well. So I was able to connect 5 other people with each other. Yeah, it's really, and then
Cool.
I love it because I'm a connector automatically. And so this is just a way for me to connect on a smaller scale. Like I can connect 5 people this week. Maybe next week it's 10. Maybe the week after it's only 2. I don't know. But I make these connections and it's one way that I can be part of helping other people, grow their connections by me bringing them all together.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun way to do that. So something you guys try it, but don't call it Tuesdays with Linda. It's taken. And if your name's not Linda, that doesn't work. Oh, yeah. And I wanted to share that again, the spelling here is correct. It's EKCETERA.com/living live. And again, that's to get your free gift, which is the 6 steps to elevate your marketing impact video training. Go check it out. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. And Kelly, you're so amazing. I just love everything you do and keep up the great work. And I'm sure I'll see you on Facebook.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. You have a great day and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye now.